At Dave Cooper Live, we connect the industry leaders in the architectural, engineering, and construction space with the people, the products, and the processes to help them build it better. All right, welcome everybody to Dave Cooper Live. Have you ever imagined building smarter, greener homes with just a few clicks? Today on Dave Cooper Live, we're joined by Roger Lewis, the founder of Homatics, who is changing how we design, build, and finance our homes. With the Homatics dashboard, homeowners can design eco-friendly homes, track carbon credit savings, and even earn financial rewards, all while streamlining the build real-time modular factory integration. Homatics isn't just a builder, it's a fully integrated one-stop solution for sustainable, precision-built homes. Get ready to explore how this technology is transforming the way we live and the way we build. But first, we need a few words from our supporting members. CombiLift is the largest global manufacturer of multi-directional forklifts and straddle carriers, a leader in long load handling solutions, offering a free warehouse and site optimization design service. CombiLift helps companies of all sizes and from every industry maximize the capacity, safety, and efficiency of their warehouse and storage facilities. A big thank you to Paul Short and the team at CombiLift for helping us all to build it better. Visit them at combilift.com. Ready to scale up your offsite construction business? Introducing 4A Constructs, your solution to finding skilled labor for offsite manufacturing. Say goodbye to the headache of recruiting a skilled workforce with hand-selected certified tradesmen that are expertly trained and managed for offsite manufacturing. Set crews and finish crews, ensuring maximum productivity and safety. Unlock the future of skilled workforce development for all of your offsite construction needs. Visit them at 4aconstructs.com. CombiLift. All right, so without further ado, let's hop into it with Roger Lewis, CEO and founder, Homatics. Roger, how are you today, sir?
I'm very good, Dave. Thank you. Great to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you as well. And hey, thank you for such an amazing opportunity with all the people we got to meet at the Homatics launch a couple weeks ago in London. That was pretty damn spectacular, if I could say it bluntly.
Well, it was very, very nice to have you there, and it was great to have you host the launch. We were very pleased to have you. I've been a great fan of the show for actually 5 years, and so it was really good to meet you in person.
Well, thank you. All right. Well, so Roger, in typical Dave Cooper fashion, before we hop into Homatics, we want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Do not leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we will have your family members on. And I saw a picture of them, and I know they'll come throw you under the bus, so you better tell us everything. But Hey, listen, just take 2 minutes. Tell us a little bit about your background and why we're getting into Homatics, and then we'll jump into what the dashboard is. Go for it.
Well, I'm a 60-year-old chartered surveyor. I qualified as a chartered surveyor in 1987. I've been self-employed, first as a real estate consultant, what you call in the States a realtor. And then I became a property developer on my own account in 1989, 1990. And I built up first of all, a large consultancy, an investment consultancy, real estate business in the London Docklands, which is an area east of the City of London that had become derelict, and I had a part and played my part in actually bringing it forward to what it is today. Canary Wharf is the sort of centerpiece of that area of London in which I was happy to build several businesses, including my property development business. I sold that business in I sold the business in 2003, and I retired in 2003. I was quite young, but I decided to do other things. I restored a country estate in Bristol, so outside of London. I sold that and moved to Sweden then after about 10 years, and I've been living in Sweden for the last 14 years, where I've sort of got a lovely wife, 2 children who are 15 and 19 now. And in 2019, I came out of retirement, spoke to my old business partners and said, I think we should have a crack at this affordable housing problem. And here we are, sort of 5-6 years later, and Homatics is the result.
All right. So here you are. You've been in the building business for a long time, and you have a real passion for, affordable home ownership today. What drove that passion? Like, something always makes everybody go, we got to fix this, or whether it's over a couple beers at the pub or whatever it is. What was the driving force for starting this company?
Well, my generation was very lucky. Before I left college with my ex-wife, we bought our first apartment in Battersea in London. We were able to do that with, 2, basically dinkies, double income, no kids yet, all of that. But we were able to do that. And it has been a source of some annoyance to me that younger people than myself are loaded with student debt, find rentals out of reach, can't buy a property. And I believe in a home owning democracy. I'm not a bleeding heart liberal or anything like that. But I believe in people working hard and getting rewards, and a good reward is to own your own home. It's a very sound thing to do. It's good for families and all the rest of it. And I felt that I had a skill set that could do a little better than the market had actually managed to do in the previous 40 years. So I dug right into it and put together the Homatics solution, which deals exclusively with delivering affordable homes using modern methods of construction, off-site, closed panel, etc. But the key to it really is the financing. You can't, however good a builder you are, you can't build without the finance, and accessing the finance. Finance is something I've learned and done quite a lot of over the years.
Right.
And it's the approach to finance and coupling up with the changes that are going on in finance at the moment. So this is where our carbon offsets come in. I studied energy economics and carbon markets and what have you. And it's really the insights into that reinforce our building skill set to actually put effective demand in the hands of people who wish to buy a home affordably. And it's really just putting all the pieces together, and our team sort of shows that the breadth of skill sets from building through to some of the tech side of materials, passports, and what have you. So we're a very modern business, but at our heart, we're builders. And the building informs the tech. The tech doesn't dictate the building, which is something that's kind of flipped, in my opinion. I think the digital age, what they call artificial intelligence, which I call machine learning, there's a lot of exaggeration about what that is, what it can be, what it will be. But, you know, I always say on any of my building sites, the most important person in the whole job is the site foreman. You know, on the job site, you need, you know, it's like the army. You need just your regimental sergeant major, and you know, I've got a regiment of those, and they're my foreman, and I listen to them first and last.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely, you put together an amazing team. Some of them I already knew from being in the industry, doing a lot of the digital tools and design. Creatomus, right? Let's get into what Homatics is. How does Homatics serve the regular person that's out there? And then I want to get into all the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, because this is truly an end-to-end process, a one-stop shop for the end user, and that includes the manufacturing. All of that is handled through this program. I have not seen that before. Walk us through what is the value for the homeowner, and then let's walk into what the tech is.
For the homeowner, we want to give a good customer experience, and we've taken as our model the motor trade. So car manufacturers, they've been at this a long time, mass manufacture, also marketing, but also finance. And when you buy a new car, all the information you could possibly ever want and the service from the dealership is there. And the house building industry lags a long way behind in terms of customer service, product knowledge, finance options. And so with David Power, who I've been working with for over 30 years with you know, digital marketing, we looked at car configurators and studied them quite closely. Other sorts of configurators. I'm a guitar player, so Warmoth guitars, you can configure a guitar. I like computers, so I mess around with the Mac computer configurator, the Dell computer configurator. You can configure more or less anything, you know, that's capable of mass manufacture, but not a house. Why not? And that was the question that David and I asked ourselves. Well, there's no reason why not. Let's do it.
And yeah, and here we are. And I know you have a bit of a presentation in the slide deck. Would now be a good time to jump into that?
Yeah, for sure. Are you gonna?
I got it on the screen.
Cool. So I put this deck together for you. There are about 30 slides, but I'll whip through them. This was our launch ad, and carbon savings meet cost savings in our homes, and our team down here: Madasta, Unisot, SmartX Data, Oakrights, AeroBarrier, Creatomus, Pod Architects, and Vant Vond Frostolen, which is our very special heating system, which is patented. And this advert basically shows how we use carbon offsets to provide discounts to get the price of the home down for the owner. So that's based on both embedded carbon and lifetime carbon savings. So that's just the larger one there. This is the ESG Summit, which we launched alongside. This subject is pretty dry. This magazine is pretty dry. And then in the middle, you've got our center spread. We've turned sustainability carbon offsets, carbon credits, monetized carbon, etc., into a discount. Whereas most of this is hair shirt stuff. Basically punishing people, telling people that they've been, you've been a very naughty boy. You don't deserve a house. You should live in a cave and save energy. Well, people need places to live. There's no reason they shouldn't be sustainable. And we just took a positive approach to the question. So getting back to the deck. So the launch event was a video. This is Steve Baker, who was a government minister in the last government. We've just had a change of government like you have in the States. So good luck to President Trump and to all the people that, want America to be great again. I love America. My business partner's out there at the moment on business meetings, etc. And in the building business and all the rest of it, people like Steve Baker is a friend of business, etc. I watch your program, and a positive attitude, a positive approach, some of that sort of can-do Americana. We've actually tapped into that this side of the pond, and we've got plenty of that. So it's based around a car dealership model, 7 regional demonstrators. So, and the regional demonstrators, this is the model with a particular finish on the outside. That's an artist's impression of the first one we're building in Greenofen. So you interviewed Nicola and Stephen. This is the cottage that will be built down at their place in Devon, the Ever After cottage. And what it is a customizable digital twin. So this is how we keep our costs down. We have a basic design which is customizable, and because it's a digital twin, we can mass produce the components. So this is a rendering of the generic digital twin, and it's customizable. So you can customize it with different trim finishes, really, like you can customize a car. You can have alloy wheels, you can have 12-inch alloys, you can have different bumpers, a spoiler, and all the rest of it. So the configurator here is you make your choices, which in real time will adjust the price of the property based on the carbon credits. Mm-hmm. And then there's a machine learning based button then that you press, and it will make the design in the local vernacular. And those local vernacular materials are sourced off the supply chain, and the configurator can go and get those products and compare the prices for the customers they go along. So in the same way as if you have leather trim in a car instead of cloth, there's a price, and you might sort of pay a bit more for something and a bit less for something else. You make those trade-offs. And I think that customers make the best choices. Homemakers make the best choices. The homemaker, usually your mum, or it might be your dad, or whatever family makeup you've got. Homemakers want to make the budget of the family go as far as possible to do the best, for their children or for the people they live with and love. Property developers don't make the best choices in customizations for their customers. The homemaker does. So this is a quote from Jack Barugian of SmartX Data. This is what Jack says. Homatics is poised to disrupt the carbon credit markets by integrating carbon offsetting directly into the home building process, creating a new category of carbon credits tied to sustainable residential development. And he goes on to say this model could reshape how carbon credits are created and traded, linking real estate development with climate action and real-time data capture for verification. So here's the SmartX Data logo and what have you. So we do that with materials passports from Madasta, which is a platform. You can hear all about that from Andrea Charlson in the interview you did with her at the launch. Unisot is triple entry bookkeeping and supply chain verification on blockchain. Oakrights Elements, they produce their natural panel. They are able to increase their production to bring down costs, and we're working on the R&D together on that, and also getting it certified with the passport, which again brings down the cost of the product. Aero barrier, air tightness, we heard Hugh Franklin talking about that in his interview with you. Very clever. It's an American product, patented by an American company who have an interest in Aero Barrier UK, which is Oakrights and Aero Barrier are related companies. So we're very happy to be working with both Oakrights and Aero Barrier. So that's Charlie and Hugh. And a big shout out to Tim Crump, who started it all, who basically he's a master carpenter, Tim, and you know, he knows a lot about the building business. Van Solen, this is our heating system, very clever heating system, and this is the engine of the carbon offsets with the monitoring of the energy usage, etc. There's this was actually drawn by Stephen and Nicola's daughter Flora. She's an artist, so that's just another, you know, all this digital stuff. Homes of humans, they're places for people to live in. It's a home. It's where the heart is, and we felt that a watercolor was a better expression than you know, than a digital 3D image. You know, there's heart in that. Obviously, blueprints and all the rest of it. This is the first scheme we're doing in Ross on Wye. These are some almshouses which are part of the site, which we're taking the vernacular from. So this is the customer chain, from the home seeker, the landowner, SME building, builders, manufacturers, wholesalers, finance brokers, social housing providers, local authorities, and financial institutions who we call fleet buyers. So if you buy a car as an individual, you might take a higher spec. But when you work for a company, if you're fortunate enough to have a company car, they buy fleets of vehicles, you know, fleets of vans, fleets of trucks, but fleets of cars as well. And we've approached it that way. This is a quote from Christopher Alexander, which basically says home is where the house heart is, and ownership is about security of knowing that you'll be there, etc. Without you know, no fault evictions and what have you, which is such a common thing in the current market. And we say we're a Swiss Army knife for delivering affordable homes. So we're a cloud-based new homes rental and acquisition experience, acquisition to purchase, matching customers to available sites. Typically, our launch home is for affordable social renters, or affordable buyers, experienced online buyers, typically 20 to 45-year-old home leavers that have high aspirations and know about digital buying online, but have a tight and limited budget. And we've designed our product to a budget to take our customers' requirements into account. We're a privately owned, UK-based volume home building, investment, development and construction startup. We are a startup. This hasn't been done before, so we have to be a startup, but it ain't our first rodeo. You know, I'm 60 years old now, and I've been at this since I was 25. So we produce or provide a demand-driven, customer-controlled, affordable homemaker experience. We think like a brand, and I stole that from Shadow Ventures, who wrote a paper in 2020, which is hands down the best thing that I've read. It's way better than the McKinsey report on modern methods of construction. That's just a list of our brands: entry-level starter home, Stylematics, affordable family homes, Housematics, downsizer retirement living, Silvermatics, and Loftmatics. Loftmatics are live work, urban, loft conversion thing. We do mortgages. We will do rentals, and we have an in-house management contractor called Verimatics. So we think like a brand, we act like a brand, and we provide service for our brand, and our customers interact with our supply chain through our brands and through our demonstrator network, which is basically like a car dealership network. So everything we do is driven by the homemaker. So site identification, acquisition, planning, sales funnel. It's a regionally based business. We curate the customer demand into pre-sold and pre-let developments, which gets our risks down. The risk profile allows us to push our margins down and keep our prices down for our customers. The more we build, the cheaper it gets. And we pass savings from our volume purchasing to the customer. We advocate for a value product for our customer. So we facilitate then our customer orders into an assembly line program, and then we provide customer and after sales service, just like a car dealership would, a good one. And our build sites are assembly lines, and we build as much in the factory as possible to be assembled on site. So Homatics means customer choice now, customer's choice of design, customer's choice of finance to buy or lease, and options, customizable options, the customer's choice of our brand. Homatics thinks like a brand. We don't build to sell speculatively. We sell and then we build to order. So the experience through the dashboard is the customers are here, they choose the sites, self-select into the sites, then they support the planning application of the planning process. Meanwhile, rental budgets, mortgages, qualifications are done. The assembly line order goes into the supply chain, and then we deliver the homes, and then they're mortgaged or financed out of the other end, and the customer service continues. All of that is subject to Unisolt's triple entry accounting at the environmental, social governance and the building information modeling level. So it's verifiable ESG reporting from the source to the consumer. This is I love this slide from Unisolt, actually. It's very good. So Verimatics, our in-house contractors, deliver this recipe as our in-house management contractors, and ESG, carbon net zero, green offsets and credits. We're fully vertically integrated. We've got a leading edge digital marketing platform, pre-qualified rental budgets and mortgage provision, origination of finance, origination of land. It's building information modeling driven on planning and procurement, and it's modular design for manufacture and assembly, DFMA, as our construction process. So Bucky Fuller, who is a famous architect designer, he said, "You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." We think we've done that. So thank you, Bucky. And the bumper sticker, there's Bucky's Dymaxion. It's a car he built in the 1930s. And our bumper sticker is empowering home seekers through the Homatics dashboard with a curated rental budget or mortgage to qualify effective demand, an affordable new home configured to budget with real-time procurement scheduling and interactive budget costings, whilst being fully ESG, SDG compliant with net zero carbon and best in class added social value. And that basically, Dave, is Homatics.
Yeah, I love it. And you know what? I like the partners too. You mentioned Oakrite, and I mean, Oakrite literally builds with oak framing, and they're known for very high-end builds. Tell me a little bit about that relationship with their factory and other factories, and where does their excitement come in, and why the change is important for them?
Yeah, well, Hermatics build an oak framed product, and they had to develop panels because the oak frames, obviously they're built true, but they expand and contract, and they couldn't get manufactured panels in the UK with the tolerances they needed, so they built their own line. And when I approached them via Dietrich, which is the computer software design company that we're working with as well, I said, well, you've got these panels. Have you got any spare capacity on your line? And they said, well, we would love to increase production on our line and work with you because we're looking to scale the business and we're looking to actually bring in a more mid-range product because they're very high end. And so we agreed to examine and work into that. And the thing that Charlie Mills, the CEO, managing director of Oakrights, really got in the first meeting when I sat down with him, I said, are you looking at carbon offsets? Do you know what they are? Are you looking at your carbon footprint? Do you realize how important that is? Because if you haven't looked into it, you're missing a trick. Well, he rang me up the next day and he said, Roger, you said about these carbon things. What is that? And I said, well, I'm glad you asked. And I told him, and we've been just growing our relationship from that point on. Who doesn't want to do something about affordable homes? Everybody does. And well, people talk about it, but Oakrights are putting their money, their effort, their expertise where their mouth is. And I'm just delighted to be working with them and with Aero Barrier and with all the other people of the team, because rather than just complaining about it, you know, on social media and round as people do, we've assembled a team of people that have said, well, we're going to have a good crack at this and we're going to make it happen. You know, I'm just knocked out by the commitment, just the sheer expertise that is within the Oakrights team, within the Aero Barrier team, within the construction college, NMITE in Hereford, and you know, Seco, they're a ecological insulation factory. We've got a CPD meeting online tomorrow with Rockwool, with their Rockwool and their Rockwool system. You know, the list is endless of fantastic businesses that are out there, small and large. With our distributed model, we work with small to medium enterprises, and we're not extracting wealth from local areas. We're making sure that our regional businesses put back into the communities which we are making our living from. So it's old-fashioned capitalism and a return to the mom and pop stores. I was thinking about this earlier. I used to play guitar, and I used to have a lot to do with Gibson and the Gibson forums. And you know, Gibson always said, oh well, people don't want the mom and pop stores. Then they started only selling to the big box stores. Now, you know, there's nothing like walking into a small town and going to see what's in the guitar shop and picking up a new guitar. I mean, I'm a very keen guitar player, and that you know, in house building as well, it used to be. I come from a building family, and you know, small builders building extensions on houses or building a few houses using local craftsmen and all of that stuff. Whilst we do have our product within built-in factories, and it's a mass-produced, affordable product, Oakrights they're true to these old traditions. So it's a remarkable business, Oakrights. I just can't stress that enough. How you know, how humbled I am to be dealing with such a fantastic family business that has built this incredible factory. Right. It is amazing. You must come and have a look at that. I know we both love the British Offsite Factory, which again is another remarkable story of another sort of family-based business that is really sort of picked up the ball and run with it, and shown the talking shop what happens when the rubber hits the road, and the doers get going. The talking shop still talking about how it should be done, and people like British Offsite, Oakrights, and my team at Homatics, we're actually leading from the front. We're leading the charge.
Yeah, and I love that. Let's talk about the value for the homeowner and the financing on this and how that process works, so everybody understands. You and your team have curated the entire supply chain through your dashboard. So as a homeowner's in here shopping online, and I always say our job as a builder is, how do we not get eliminated? How do we give the client everything we want? How do we not get eliminated online first? Because everybody shops online. So you're meeting the customer where they're at by giving them an online platform. You've curated all the products that have carbon credits, sustainability. Not only have you curated them, you're building an entire passport program, so those products can be tracked from the moment you use them for the life of them. There's going to be what they call a passport on them. But then on the back end, those carbon credits are going to help reduce the client's mortgage by as much as 25% if they choose all the products that they want that allow them to do that. And the dashboard helps them see it as they do it. Is that correct?
That's correct. It would be a whole hour going into the deep weeds on all of that. But effectively, being fully integrated, one of the biggest problems in construction is large contractors not paying small contractors. It's a huge problem, and also developers not paying medium-sized contractors or large contractors, and then it becomes dog eat dog, and it causes all sorts of delays, and it sort of justifies bad behavior in many respects within the industry. Now, by controlling the whole supply chain, what we're able to do with smart contracts is have one trade gets paid on a smart contract when the next trade can start. Okay, it's a very simple idea. So there isn't there's no mechanism for someone gaming a cash flow, say. So there have been lots and lots of contractors going bust in the UK. I'm sure it's the same in the States. And it causes havoc, and it's priced in as risk. By doing what we're doing, we are containing that risk, and we're able to have an appropriate level of profit across the supply chain, so that basically no one is under pressure. There's not one weakest link that's going to bust apart. Basically, by reinforcing, Charlie made a point actually in the interview when he was talking about the paint in the house he was building. Very expensive. At the end of the job, that's a very expensive thing. I know lots of landscape architects and gardeners. One of my best friends is a landscape gardener, a guy called Rob Treble. The guy that played the piano at the event, Harrison, is his uncle. So Rob, he'd always say, well, at the end of a job, our budget is the one that gets cut, because this plan ahead idea. When it gets to the end, you do the landscaping at the end naturally, and so it gets cut, and so it's not done properly. Well, I've been around this business a long time, and controlling the cash, and listening to your foreman and knowing who's where the blockages are likely to come, or where maybe someone's not underperforming and needs a quiet word or whatever. All of this sort of thing, that's built into our curation of our delivery mechanism, and we keep it simple by having a single design that's customizable across brands. We will have more designs, but we've launched the Ever After Cottage as it's like our Tesla Roadster. you know,
Get you out
we're
of
a
the
car
gate.
dealership business, just for houses. That's what we are.
Yeah.
And we've got no legacy. Like Polestar have the legacy with Volvo. Yeah, we're just doing affordable homes from the ground up. We're not carrying any dead weight. So we can design to the best use case with the best technology, with the best knowledge that we know now, and we can be the best possible affordable house builder. That's a hard thing to do if you're trying to adapt
To everybody.
a dinosaur model,
Yeah.
which sadly there are a lot of dinosaurs in this business.
There is. So let's talk about expansion and when you're coming to the U.S. Brett Little here says, I'm guessing this is not in the U.S. ? What is the plans for Home Addicts, and how do people get involved with you?
Well, SmartX Data based out of Chicago, and obviously that's where the Chicago Mercantile Exchange is, and a lot of our carbon offsets that we'll be selling for our customers and plowing back into the discounts will be sold on that great market, the great the great sort of futures markets, commodities markets in the US. Now, I love the States. I've traveled a lot in the States, and I've got friends out there. We would love to come and do this in the States, do it in the partnership in the States. But what we want to do is perfect the model. I always go on about this. You measure twice and cut once. Measure twice and cut once. So we're getting it right with our first 176 customers, training our machine learning, and then we will roll out. We have a pre-order for 1,750 houses, which we're obligated to deliver over the next 5 years. But by the end of that 5 years, our model is scalable to building 20,000 homes a year in the UK. Globally, it's scalable. It's scalable across Europe. It's scalable across the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the whole of the G7 countries. The affordable housing problem is the world over, and the way that finance has been arranged has meant that piles and piles of monetary demand is in fewer and fewer hands, and sadly, even if those people had the imagination to invest the money in the real economy, they're stuck in the casino economy. Enough money isn't getting into the real economy. I mean, I'm a proper old-fashioned industrial capitalist. Finance should be getting to the wealth creators, which is the smaller businesses. It isn't happening. You can't, banks are closing down, high street banks. Right. We need more high street small banks. That's what we need, not these mega banks. I think President Trump understands that, and it's great for me to see a businessman there, a proper businessman, a fantastic developer. His dad actually helped in the 50s with the projects in Queens, and did that with bonds, etc. Obviously, the Donald, made it big in Manhattan. But my favorite story about Donald Trump is the ice rink in Central Park. And Giuliani asked him to sort it out, and he did. He finished it early, and no one else had been able to do it for years. Now, the man is a builder. He knows the building business. Whatever else anybody else thinks about it. If anyone says to me, and he's not even a very good builder, I say, have a word with yourself. The man is a genius builder. Whatever else you say about him, the man can build, and he puts his products out there. I'm not into politics, but I know a good builder when I see one, and he is one.
Yeah. No. Again, and we don't do a whole lot of politics on this show whatsoever. But
well, that wasn't politics. That was just that's props to a fellow builder.
That's what we call facts.
Yeah, exactly.
Going through the facts. All right. So listen, we're just about out of time here. I want to go to Henry Mickelberg's comment as well, and then He says, liking the pragmatic financial use of carbon credit offsets using an analog product in local vernacular context makes sense. Question: do you have in principle pre-approval agreements with regional planning departments for the palette of facades and vernacular finishes? Is the question.
We do. We have a planning handbook. So they're similar to in the United States, that there are local planning design games, guides. In the UK, they have master planning agreements in some places. Now, what I say to my planning consultants is we're totally compliant with everything, right? We will find the vernacular, the local people that want to want what fits. We're not doing mega developments. We're doing human scale placemaking, and there's nothing for the planners to say no to. That won't stop them. But I made the point in a question that came up in the launch panel, and because we basically build to order. So when we make an application, it's all pre-sold. If there's a problem politically, what I said is maybe I'll sue them, maybe I'll appeal them, maybe I'll just walk away, but I'll introduce them to my customers who happen to be wanting to live in those areas, already come from those areas. I say, well, you explain to them, not my problem. Have a nice day. You're not going to get elected.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But
Henry,
yes, we do try, Henry, to do our, we have got our planning handbooks, and those planning handbooks actually inform the vernacular machine learning generative design that you can play within the configurator.
Very good. Henry, man, good to hear from you. Thank you for that. And thanks for not winding Roger up too much. He likes to wind people up every once in a while. Always good question.
Oh, that was a very friendly question.
Yeah.
We like a good old-fashioned British leg pull.
Very good. Very good. All right, Greg Ugaldi, this is the past chairman of the National Association of Home Builders. He said, very informative, David and Roger. What is your main concern as you roll out and move forward?
Always in the ground. And any builder will tell you the biggest problems and the biggest losses are always in the ground. So we've designed a screw pile ground beam foundation system, which is applicable across sites, but always in the ground. If you're going to go wrong, you go wrong in the ground, and that's more true of offsite closed panel DFMA than anything else. So yeah, the ground, and then always finance.
Right.
Variable interest rates, whatever. And we've got various sort of hedging strategies for our finance. We're fortunate that we're dealing with large sums of equity finance. But of course, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune are forever present.
Yeah, forever is for sure. All right, so with that said, let's put a bow on all of this. So Homatics has its launch in the UK, but you are looking to expand in other parts of the world, and you have the ability to do that. Carbon credits and trading of all those credits currently, you're working with the company out of Chicago, and they're actually a big global company, if I recall my conversation with Tom. What about getting those carbon credits and getting those issued? Is that going to be an issue moving forward? And that'll be my last question.
Well, we're operating in a free market. We're not asking for government permission. These things will be mandated. There has been a voluntary carbon market for some time, and it's got a very bad reputation, and for very good reason. What we are doing is verifying with the passports and auditing, and we're setting the bar very, very high. Again, on the panel, I think it was Hugh said, he's never met a regulation where he's kind of thinking, oh wow, there's the regulation. Wouldn't it be good if it was a little bit higher or do a bit better? Regulations are there to stop the baddies from doing bad stuff, right? The goodies doing good stuff, okay? That's what we're about. With the carbon offsets and the carbon credits, we're setting the bar very, very high, which makes our offsets a very, very valuable commodity. And because of the verifiability on the buy side and the sell side, I think I've got that right, Jack. So this is Jack Burragian. I've been having a bit of a, and also Robert Abnelli. They're ex Open Cry traders in the CME markets, right. And you've got to believe in your product, and you need to know that what you're saying, the deal you're making, that you're understanding it from the buy side and the sell side. We're doing that, and we're a market maker. We're not asking permission. We're making a market, and so we're calling for bids on our carbon credits, and we know they're the best ones in the market. So we're not expecting problems from regulators or anything. We are setting the standard. We're not trying to scrape through just over the bar. We're setting the bar very, very high.
Love it. I'm going to put a banner up here so people can see it, right? You can go to the website, HomeAddicts, HomeAttix.net. That'll get you there without all that other stuff at the end. So if you want to learn more about the HomeAddicts dashboard, there's a free configurator on there. You can go in there yourself, and I was just playing with it a little bit while you were talking.
At the moment, it's a demonstrator.
Yeah.
The first 176 customers will be talking to affinity groups, unions, right. Nursing associations, etc., right. And basically be building for, and those people will actually train the configurator. So the launch that you kindly hosted for us, Dave, was for the supply chain. So we're recruiting supply chain. So supply chain suppliers out there, if you've got an innovative product, you want to get a materials passport and join in the carbon offset party, then get on the phone. My phone number is online. I answer the phone. I respond to emails. I'm an old-fashioned guy in the market, and I appreciate a lead, and I look after a lead, and I follow up a lead. And we want to hear from you, and we want to do business with you all over the UK and in my country of Wales.
Well, Roger,
Wales is another country.
I'm not even getting into UK, England, Wales, Scottish. That's a whole nother hour. Well, listen, Roger, appreciate you having us over. Appreciate you coming on the show today. Is there anything that I did not talk about that you want to make sure everybody knows before we wrap this up?
I don't think so. I think you sort of, you always sort of covered it all, and hopefully I covered the initial question of what I did from the moment I was born up until now.
Oh yeah.
You asked me that. I've heard you ask other people that, and I sort of thought, what do you say when he asks you that?
I've literally had people start where they were conceived on the gantry table, so you can start wherever you want. You never know. The home building industry, I guess, things happen in odd places and trust plants and stuff. But nonetheless, Roger, you stay right there. Thank you so much for joining us today. And make sure you go check out HomeAddicts, everybody. And you can go on, you can watch the demonstrator online. And if you have any questions or comments or want to get your products involved, just reach out to Roger directly. He does answer his email. I will vouch for that. And he'll do WhatsApp or whatever else you want to do. So with that said, the good thing is it's only Monday. We got 4.5 more days to keep building it better. Not only is HomeAddicts doing it good for the environment, it's good for the people. It's good for my kids, because my kids can't afford a house, and that's one of the things that's super important for me, is to leave this world in a better place. And we're going to tell the stories of HomeAddicts and everybody else out there that's making the effort to make that happen. So my hat's off to you, Roger. Don't go anywhere. I'll come back to you after the outro. For the rest of you, thanks for watching. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you, And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.